Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are feeling refreshed and energized because I'm actually not feeling those things, but I feel like those things are coming very soon. I was on a holiday last week to Portugal and Spain, and it was absolutely beautiful, and I loved it, and yeah, I highly recommend it. And it was just so nice to have my mind completely away from the normal thinking. And the most amazing thing that happened was by being away, I could really just have these ideas come to me, which don't come in normal settings or a normal routine because we're so busy completing the tasks that we don't actually get our creative flow going. And by being away in a different setting, in a different, warm, and very beautiful by the sea, lively environment, I felt like my mind could completely just move into another place. So if you haven't traveled yet, please do so. Please do so because that's where your strongest ideas come from and things that you want to do, and just simply to not be in the daily grind and live in that frustration when things don't work out, when this doesn't work out. I remember when I came back, even though I was exhausted, I very much had clarity of the tasks and things that I want to do, and it was just a nice break from it. So, now that I am back, I am excited to do this reading because it's been a while. I missed last week, of course, because I was traveling. But let's see what messages come up for this week. It's an exciting week. I don't know if you have been feeling it, but this June very much feels like the start of, how do you call it? The start of, or the steps towards things you've been wanting for a long time or you've been working towards. It's about finally seeing the fruits of them. So how they come about and things that you've been wanting for a while, you'll finally start seeing actions of those things coming up naturally. Before, if you were hindered in your steps towards making something happen. I know, for example, I'm starting a podcast, and the idea that I had, this idea I've had since a couple of months ago, and I always kept having some sort of an obstacle, which was sometimes a guest would cancel, sometimes the equipment room was not free that I wanted to use, and this wouldn't happen. So it always kept there kept being obstacles, and now it feels like it's coming to a point where those obstacles are moving away and your path is being laid out for you to pursue what you've been wanting to for a while. And if you do take actions on those things, they will really move towards what you've been wanting to achieve very fast. All right, now let's get some cards. I feel like the messages were just kind of coming through and not really focused on what the cards are saying. Right, so we have the Rider-Waite deck, which is the original tarot deck. Since nothing is jumping out, I'm going to take this. The Hanged Man. Some of you are in a big waiting phase. There's almost like a feeling of frustration where perhaps something you've been wanting for a year or 2 or 3 years, and you're like, this is really testing my patience. When is it gonna come? Why am I still waiting? And sometimes that happens. This waiting phase definitely is sometimes can be very frustrating and really makes you doubt whether it's actually ever going to happen, something that you may have been wanting. So that is not a nice phase. And I have a feeling that a lot of you have been in this phase for months, actually. Yeah, this has been for months. It may seem like nothing has happened in those times, but actually, probably quite a lot has happened anyways, whether that's internally, or perhaps something that you've been wanting is being created somewhere else. For example, say that you want an apartment, a flat, or a house that you, in a certain location, in a certain or something that has like a certain layout or something, or like you want certain appliances, furniture already in the apartment. It may be that perhaps the previous tenant is in that apartment and they've bought a lot of things anyways, and now they're going to have to move soon, but they can't take those things, or they don't want to take those things. So those things are already there. So that saves you the hassle of having to go into that apartment and buying new things, you know? So what I mean by that is what you have been wanting is being prepared for you so that you don't have to do it yourself. You know, you're kind of getting like a complete package rather than going into something that is kind of almost there and then you having to complete those things yourselves. Of course, if you want those things, if you want to complete those things, that's a different story. But this is simply just an example that, you know, if you've been wanting those things, it's easier if you have all the furniture there, or I don't know, if you've been wanting a dishwasher or washing machine, so that you don't have to buy that stuff, you know, that stuff is already there. So it's that sort of waiting. But it is very close. Ooh. The moon. Okay, could not be more applicable since we have the new moon this weekend. Is it tomorrow? I think it's tomorrow. Very influential time always. If your sleep has been a bit all over the place, if your emotions have been a bit all over the place, if you've been having thoughts about certain things from one thing to another, it's almost like, okay, I know this is where I'm going, but then there's also another like voice in your head which is kind of like saying, can I actually do it? What is the more practical way to think about it? Don't listen to that voice. Yes, there is practicality. Sometimes we do have to think of practicality, but at the same time, this is not the time to think about practicality. This is the time, this is your window to really dream. If you believe in things like manifestation, or if you just simply, you know, want something for your next stage in life, I would not block yourself with practicality. Yes, there's practicality, but I would go full out. I would really dream big at this point, in this window anyways. If on some other days you feel like you have to be, okay, now pull yourself and be a bit practical, fine. But right now, around the lunar cycles, when it is full moon, new moon, you know, it is really a time to kind of dream big and go all out. Your emotions would be heightened, and you are going to be, or you'll have more of a feeling to take an action towards certain thing that you've been wanting, which is why it's, ideal to do that. I've just noticed there's a lobster in this card, and lobster does have a certain meaning, and I bought unknowingly a tea towel that had also a lobster on it. So there are a couple of meanings. With the lobster, it may be that if you're feeling sort of like a dream or something is being kind of slipping away, like through your fingers, if it's not that it is, but if it feels that way, it somehow can represent having a strong grip on something. So that's one meaning, you know. But I don't think this means it in a way that, you know, just moving on my phone, that it's it's negative that you can't have a grip. I think it's just representing that don't lose that, don't let that doubt get in the way for you to give up on it. You know, it's something, if it is very much dear to you, then it's a message to say that keep pursuing it. The other meaning behind the lobster is also, it can sometimes mean that you want to avoid all the drama and chaos, and you want to step away from from all of that. It kind of feels very much like hindering. You know, it feels like if for the next week or so you feel like you want to just have time as much as possible to yourself, then go for it. Really go for it. This is very important, because it's only going to delay things of what you're wanting, by pulling you away from what is important to you. So if that means that you don't go to certain places, if that means that, you know, you don't feel like speaking to certain people, then you don't. It's a call to say in the next week, don't do that, because that will kind of pull on your energy quite a lot, which means you won't have the right energy to put into what is really important to you. So this week you may be kind of going into your hermit mode. Let's see what else is coming up. Okay, we're going to take this card. 6 of Wands. Very nice card. It's a card of victory. Some of you are going to be getting some sort of a reward, some sort of something you've been wanting for a while. It's coming. Yeah, definitely. Okay, so if you keep your focus in the next week on yourself, only on yourself, no one else, and what you're wanting to create, your reward is very close. Very close. I think some of you don't realize how close it is. In fact, it could even be within like the next week or two. Yeah, within something big is coming within the week or two. But it does require you to focus all your energy. A tip on that is, as soon as you start thinking of a situation or past situation that keeps coming up, for this 1 week, just either like note down in a diary that you're thinking of it. So that's when you start, as soon as the thought comes up, you switch it to something that you're grateful for. Write it down, and then once you write down 1 or 2 things, if more things come into your mind, then keep going with it. Keep going. Keep that practice going. I know sometimes people don't do that. I know sometimes it's hard to have, a lot of people have this gratitude journals and all these things. If those help you, do those. But for this next week, it is, if there's anything to take from this reading, it is to basically keep your attention away from anything negative. Anything negative. It's quite a significant and a potent time, which is bringing you some of your big things that you've been wanting. And you cannot afford to get distracted in this time by this negativity, by overthinking, by a past situation, by things that have hurt you in the past. After this time, you can think about it if you want, but in the next week, very strict with yourself, very self-disciplined. I've just realized the lobster also means that. Very high sort of self-restraint and self-discipline. I think that's what I have been wanting to say about the lobster, why I keep seeing symbols of that everywhere. That's the message. Okay, so self-restraint and self-discipline is the key. Okay, judgment. I think I've just talked about it, that if you're judging yourself or judging past situations, exactly what I was just saying, that like it's your time, your energy is very precious, and it's time to keep it very precious and to realize that it is very precious. So this is the week to not think about those things. Yeah, anything from the past, negative, someone who triggers you. Nope. This week is not the week for that. After that, fine. But otherwise you'll be blocking some of the big things that are coming your way. Yeah. Any more messages? Let's see. Queen of Pentacles. Someone is coming into money, earthly possessions. This could, okay, earthly possessions could even be a house. If some of you have been wanting a house, flat, apartment, something is coming. Yeah, Queen of Pentacles usually is very earthly possessions, with certain material possessions or something that keeps you grounded. You know, it could even be a car for some of you. Could even be a big purchase, basically purchase, or something new that you've been calling in that relates to monetary, earthly possessions. Yeah. Very much on its way. Could even be in the next week or two. Before the end of this month anyways. What are we today? 17th of June, yeah. Could even be the end of this month. So it's very, very important. I know I'm reiterating, but very important to keep your energy away from anything negative. Do whatever it takes. If you're into sage practices, if you're into wearing any charms or anything that helps you, now's the time to do that. If those things help, if they don't, of course, like, keep going, but if they do help you, great week to use them. It can just help you, like, bring your attention back to, like, the present positive moments, or just keep your mind away from those things. Gratitude, appreciating the present is a must. Okay, let's get a chakra message. I haven't done this in a while. So, all right. Gratitude, which is exactly what I was saying. I think there's nothing more to say on that. So, yeah, gratitude is a big thing. I will check anyways. So, gratitude raises our vibration to a higher level. If you are unhappy in a relationship, this card is reminding you that it is always in your power to change it. Again, relationship is just an example, but it could be even whatever it is, you know, like a job, a living situation, whatever it may be. It is always in your power to change it. Okay, so there is a personal inquiry that is coming. So, who is the person I admire the most? So if you're noting down any questions for this week to reflect on, this is the question. Who is the person I admire the most? How can I live at that level? Okay, so some of you who are who have role models, if you have someone you like their content on Instagram, or if you like someone on Pinterest that you've seen and how they live their life, this week is the week to focus on those things. Very much so. Get your attention off anything that brings you low, that makes you, like, when you look at that situation, you feel like low. Yeah. So there's also other things which include friendship, deep love, unconditional love towards self or others. Nurturing yourself. This week, buy yourself some really nice healthy food and flowers. Treat yourself this week very much. So if you're into skincare, this is the time to update your skincare, do a sort of protecting your skin, doing everything with love. This is the week to do everything with love. Yeah. And having that immense gratitude. Yeah, this is a key message, one of the key messages that has been coming up. Right, let's see, what else have we got? Let's get some. It's for a reason. It's all for a reason. Okay. Something tells me that a certain past situation that has not been resolved, that keeps playing in your mind, that you kind of had no conclusion to it, which is why your mind kind of keeps going back to that situation. Or if you're like, well, why did they do that? Or why are they not like this? Why did they say those things to me? And it's really to say, if there was a sign to give you a resolution or a conclusion from such a situation, this is it. It's to say, if that person wanted to, they would have. If they would have already. If that person wanted to offer you a contract or all these things, or if it was going to happen, it would have happened already. Which is why looking for some sort of a closure from that situation seems difficult, because there was not a communication. There's been some sort of a communication gap. But if that situation has been going on for a while, for some of you, it may even be 6 months, 7 months, a year, or however long it's been, and if you haven't received a closure from such a situation, it may be that closure is not going to come. And this is your sign that this is your closure, because they haven't given you a resolution, or someone hasn't given you an answer, someone hasn't given you more information when you've asked for it. Again, could be with anything: relationship, job situation, some sort of a something that you were wanting. Someone said they want to throw a party and you're invited to it, but you're not invited to it. Or could be very little things to a very big thing, something that is playing on your mind. This is the week to dream and taking action on those dreams only. Nothing more. So it was all for a reason. If it hasn't worked out, or something that keeps playing in your mind hasn't happened, it's for a reason, and this is your closure. And next week we're only doing what aids our goals. All right. I feel like ending it there, because the key messages have been that we have a new moon tonight, and some of you may be feeling a little bit having lack of sleep. It's very much can happen, and heightened emotions, low or high, but very much stay within yourself, and this is the time to dream big and focus on your goals. Anyone triggers you, negative situations, we're putting them away for this 1 week at least. We want to practice that all the time, but that doesn't happen. But for the next week, this is going to happen. And because on the other side of it, after this week, some big things are coming into your life which you've been wanting for a very long time, or at least the very signs of those things are coming. If you've been wanting a house, your payment is going to get through, your offer may be accepted, or something like that, and in order to pull your attention away from it, if it means that you have to go into a hermit mode, do it. And practicing gratitude is essential for the next week. Essential. Make a list if you have to every day. For the next 7 days, this is what I recommend. All right. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I hope you have a nice week. Again, this was a very general reading, and if you'd like a bit more personalized reading, and if you'd like to know why a certain situation has been on your mind in a certain situation, why does it keep happening again and again, what is the pattern that keeps repeating, something that you can't see and something that you want to resolve or move past, a general reading can't really help with that. But if you'd like a bit more personalized reading, DM me on avantika.reiki.coach, which I have linked down below, and I can help you with that. So I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next week. Bye.